Welcome back to the ESL Pro League. T-Squared and Ryu hanging out at the Xfinity desk. Now, I want to give a shout out to one of our sponsors, Kingwin, for making this season so awesome. We really appreciate your continued support. Also, if you're not aware, ESL 1 is right around the corner. It's going down October 1st and 2nd at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. That's 8 teams competing for $250,000 in prize money, and it doesn't stop there. There's a Street Fighter V Brooklyn Beatdown as well. That's an open tournament with $75,000 up for grabs. For more information on that, ESL-1.com is your destination. But we're talking about NRG going up against compLexity, and this is going to be hard for compLexity. They gotta prove that they don't deserve to be at the bottom.
That's what they'd like to prove. I don't know that we've seen that from them in-game just yet. NRG, on the other hand, has proved some people wrong. Some people named Jason Moses O'Toole, who didn't think they were going to be as good as they've been.
That guy's never wrong, though, that Moses guy.
You said wrong. I think you meant right. That guy's never right.
Yeah.
Is that the word you were looking at?
I meant. I was being sarcastic.
What is sarcastic?
It's something that you do when you're not being serious.
Wow. So I guess I'm like 24/7 sarcastic.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, so NRG, and talking to Moses, he didn't think they were very good. He had a little Twitter tiff with one of the players from the NRG members, whose name may have 3 letters in it. And I thought that they were going to beat Echo Fox when they did. I think that they stylistically just match up super well against most of the North American teams. They play good, consistent Counter-Strike in their approach to the game. They're very innovative. They come up with new smokes, new mollies, new flashes, cool setups, and they have some firepower. It's just not quite like a Cloud9 type of firepower. But I do think Tapson's one of the better players in the region right now, and Peter's been playing super well. So they are definitely not a team to take lightly, even if you're one of the top teams in the division. Cloud9, on the other hand, kind of dispatched of them, and I think that's just the distance Cloud9 has right now over everybody else in the region.
And they're going to be going up against compLexity, taking a look at their roster. Def, Surreal, Whitmer, Android, and Uber. Now, who's going to have to go big for compLexity?
I think Uber. He's been a little bit struggling as of late. He was tweeting out some stuff about maybe they'll look to change the sensitivity or change to a different mouse. And when you get in your head with something like that, it can tend to fester. And just knowing Uber from the time I've spent with him, he was like the world's biggest proponent of like never change anything. Don't change your res, your crosshair, your mouse.
Underwear,
underwear, nothing. He would wear the same. It's like I think it said like Sydney on it. It was like a picture of a kangaroo. Wore that shirt all the time. Just like never change anything. And for him to be saying like, man, I'm playing so bad, I think it's time for a new sense or a new mouse. Was like when I read that, I was like,
maybe
I was gonna tweet to him like, don't do it, but I'm like, he's not on my team. Do it. Yep, change it. Let's get you a new computer. Let's switch you to a Mac. Like, let's go all in. Change everything. Let's get you a new chair. You know, maybe like a gaming futon or something.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, just the smallest of things, you know, could change. You got to be comfortable when you're playing. That's the number one thing. So I know you didn't want me to ask you this question, but I'm gonna ask you anyway. What would you tell compLexity? Ryu, words of wisdom. We know what the Bears would say. But what would Ryu say?
I think they have to play with confidence. They have to play with confidence. I actually sounded like
you have to hit your shots.
Yeah, I mean, I think they just have to come out, and they're really good on cash. They're a good cash team. They've played it pretty well. Everybody kind of knows what to expect from them strategically. It's not super fancy. It's a lot of 4-1 type splits. That's what their coach Warden is known for calling, 4-1 this, 4-1 that. So for them, it's really going to be wherever that group of 4 players are. They have to play where at least one person, because everyone knows that it's coming, right? One flashbang and you can get 4 kills if you clean up the frags fast enough. They need to do it in some sort of way that's structured and at least kind of planned. And then I would tell Uber, if he's going to eat celery before this game, cut the top of the celery off. I've never seen anybody eat like the leaves of the celery stalk in my life.
Is that his go-to gaming stack?
When he did that, I was like, did he just eat the leaves on the top of
I don't think you're supposed to do that.
No, you cut that off.
Yeah, you're totally supposed to cut that off.
True story. This is an Uber story.
He's just eating celery straight up.
I'm telling everybody your secrets. He ate the leaves of the celery stalk. It was first a bowl. He has a bowl of Cheerios.
Okay.
Takes a spoonful of Cheerios.
Nothing like Cheerios and celery.
Cheerios are good.
So is he using celery?
Not as good as Soylent or Mountain Dew.
Is he using the celery stick as the spoon?
Nope, just spoonful of Cheerios. And then takes the stalk of celery, leans back, crosses his legs, and just eats the top with the leaves.
And leaves the rest of it.
With a mouthful of Cheerios.
Wait, okay, so he's mixing the two.
Yes.
That is disgusting.
It was weird.
That's really
weird, right?
I mean, that's pretty weird. I don't know.
Weird. It happened after DreamHack Austin, and that's the reason why he's not with our team anymore. No, I'm just kidding. That's
that
not
a
the
secret?
reason.
Well, guys, we're just having some fun up here because we're waiting for the players to get into the server. We are a little bit early
We're
today.
early. We're ahead of schedule.
We are ahead of schedule. It feels nice to be ahead of schedule.
Yeah, I just wish Giants won today.
Yeah, I know that. Hopefully, your guys' football teams won, unless they're in the NFC East, guys. But you know, Ryu and myself were Giants fans, so we were very upset today, and you know, we're pretty much
Cloud9's not upset today though.
Cloud9's not upset. They're doing the opposite of what the Giants are doing.
Yeah, they're playing TSM later. TSM's been pretty good. We actually had a really tight BO3 with them. We lost 16-14 on the third map in the E-League qualifier.
Yes, that was close.
That's basically as close
That's
as
the story of Selfless's life.
Man, 7 maps we've lost so far this season by 4 rounds or less.
I've heard that story so many times. I feel like it's 14 or 21.
Yep. Yeah. It's been rough, man. So close.
That's the face of despair.
Cloud9, I want Cloud9 to beat TSM because I want to see Cloud9 at ESL New York. I think that they would make such a great show there. If you didn't get your tickets, you can. You'll probably know which website to look at because I don't remember that. But I would love to see them have a tournament run where they've had some of these recent ones. They get to the semifinals, they get to the finals. It would be nice to see them convert one in the States, and I think that would be a super great event to do it at.
It's ESL-1.com in case you guys were wondering. But if you're wondering when the game's going to start, it's going to start really soon. So I'm going to throw it on over to the casters. Who we got over there? I can't see the cameras in the way. There they are. It's Blue and Dazed. It's Blazed.
How's it hanging?
Guys?
We're doing pretty good over here. Now let's get immediately into this match. Of course, it is going to be NRG taking on compLexity. We haven't actually gotten to talk to you as of yet because there was a bit of a roster change a couple months back now with NRG. What were your thoughts on that change?
Well, they got rid of Justin 9N and George Zimmerman. George Zimmerman's brother, or lookalike. And they got Tapson, league leader in FPR, and the league leader in flashbangs, Legia. Best flasher ever. Best flashbang
Great support.
No, he is. Like, I'm dead serious. So they started out a bit bumpy, but now it's looking really good, man. Tapson's dominating.
Yeah, I mean, we saw when they played against Liquid the other day, there were some really good stuff from them, obviously managing to pull off the 2-0 victory in that one, and that was like just Gobby completely outclassing.
Completely opposite of like, compLexity just seems to make roster changes, but I just never understand them. Yeah. Like, I'm just like, who are they like building around? Who do they want like as a mainstay, you know? Like, I know Ape Strat calling for him now, but one thing about compLexity is like, they have a tendency to just get blown out when they lose, right? So I think we are going live here. Kia Man, double flashes and a smoke. It's a great name, huh?
That is an amazing name. A car company followed by just the fact that he's the man, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Very close with Blake Griffin. You have no idea what that means on Blue.
Nope.
No?
Not at all. I'm just going to chuckle along.
Yeah.
Act like I know what's happening.
He's sponsored by Kia. He's a basketball player.
Oh,
Kia
okay.
sponsors the NBA. But anyways, Kia, if you want to sponsor ESL, don't contact me. I have nothing to do with it, but I'm sure somebody out there would love to partner with you.
Finding ESL website.
But these are good maps for compLexity. Like Cash and Dust 2 are maps they could definitely beat NRG on. And NRG, they still have to play Renegades, and they still have to play Optic Blue. And they already have 7 losses.
Yep. So they're in contention to once again just get snubbed out of the top 6.
They could get snubbed out.
Yep.
They definitely could.
Like I think I mentioned this a couple days ago too. This almost that basically happened to them last season too. They were like 2 rounds of being in the top 4. But finally, compLexity will go for the execute here onto the pistol round on the T side. Well, Android and Surreal getting 2 big kills. Man on the table there, picking up one of them. Gobby responding with one of his own, and now Legia trying to shift in as well. He's certainly spotted quite a few of them, but the smokes roll in, aiming at some damage onto him. However, Gobby walking right up there. A quick kill for him against Uber, but Android responds. Now this goes into a 2 versus 3, but there is some great damage being primed onto quite a few of these players. As Gobby shifts up, gets the finishing blow onto Android. Got to be careful because there is one more below, but he handles that one as well. Runs out of ammo. He's got to dive back down, but Peters arrived, pushes him through the smoke, and shuts down Surreal to give NRG the pistol round here on this first map.
Gobby coming in huge, winning that, and that was something that I feel compLexity really needed. You know, I didn't finish my point about their losses, but they're kind of the opposite of Selfless. Selfless, every time they're losing, it's close. compLexity, out of their 11 losses, how many times do you think they've lost but gotten 10 rounds or more?
I would say like once at most.
Once.
Yep.
They've only gotten 10 rounds or more in their losses 1 time.
And we are going to go into a quick pause here. You may have seen at the beginning, I think it was Surreal. It was lagging a little bit at the start of that game, so probably just of technical nature to be able to fix that. And then we will get unpaused and jump right back into things. But as far as I'm aware, that round played out pretty normally, so I don't think there's any reason to reset it.
Yeah, I mean, he was the last man alive. Couldn't win that 1v2. I doubt they reset it there. They had every opportunity to win that round.
Absolutely.
But yeah, 11 losses, only getting over 10 rounds or 10 rounds one time, man. Every single time they just lose 16-5, 16-1, 16-6, 16-7. So if they get off to a bad start, sometimes they just get blown out. And that means to me, that means pistol rounds are just huge for this team.
And with them dropping this one here, it's certainly not going to bode well for them in the future, although they will be going into a lot of smoke purchases here into the second round. Not much beyond that. Nobody buying armor. Not even really that many upgraded pistols beyond P250s. Only Android picking up a Deagle. We've seen him pull up some monstrous plays with this Deagle in the past. I think it was on this map where he had the ace with it, but not looking like they're going to be showing that much of it this round. Tabson grabs a nice 2K through the smoke. Ape manages to sneak up to the smoke at the very least, and Tabson may have gotten caught off guard. Back to Shell. Ape moves in, picks up that kill. It's pretty quickly traded off though, and now it's just Android, but he's got the Deagle in hand, and like I mentioned, he's good with this thing. Picks up 1 kill against Fugly. Still 3 more to go though, and obviously with 1:10 still remaining on the clock, he's going to be pacing this out, taking his time with it, not checking over by the corner. Legia may be able to just take him down when he moves forward here, but he's trying to inch his way over towards Forklift, give himself a little bit of a better angle, needs to check that angle, and he does! He actually takes down Legia, so all of a sudden, he's got this lined up, but that flashbang forces him back behind cover now. Even Peter being a little bit hesitant to peek there, as this is a ranged battle all of a sudden. They want Gabi to be able to take it back over there, just sitting inside of Z. They're waiting for his opportunity to peek. Finally, Android feels secure and going for this plant. He'll get it, but he's immediately going to be challenged by Peter. The timing works out for NRG, and they do grab the second round. But Android certainly making things interesting towards the end of it.
Oh, those kills were huge, man. They saved. They just wanted. All they wanted to do that round was mainly get the bomb down, get 1 or 2. Instead, they get 3 kills off Android's 1Ds and get the bomb down.
So with that, of course, compLexity get to go into this gun round, and they'll have this gun round with NRG being on the cusp of being broken due to all these rebuys. There's only 1 actual rifle sitting on this team too, and that's in Tabson. Everybody else has to completely rebuy or just stick with the SMG they would have had from the last round there. So pretty much everybody on this team is broke now except for Tabson.
Yeah, and Android did a great job there. Fantastic job by him. You know, NRG played that perfectly though. They got the molly down on the door. They couldn't come out. They had 4 towards door. Tabson spammed 2 through the smoke, but then it kind of fell apart in that 4v1. So now compLexity has an opportunity to really get a big momentum swing in their favor if they win this round. Depth over at the boost, 1 player door, 1 A main, 1 useless, and 1 all the way back towards T spawn. So a passive default, probably want to just punish any pushes and then group up and hit something. Whether you go mid first, you go straight towards A, straight towards B, we'll see. We see NRG completely giving up middle. Don't even have anybody spotting it except for in A site. Player playing outside of B and Z, so they're in a setup that could definitely get abused by compLexity. You could take any map control you want. If you split A, you could split highway very easily. If you split B, you can go through the vents very easily. You could have a lurker very easily. They can do whatever they want. Obviously, they don't know this, but they can do whatever they want, as they are clearing out middle right now. Blue. Ape going to get a Molotov towards sandbags, it looks like.
They throw it over there first to get themselves on top. Even going to boost the second player up too as Def leads the charge towards mid. No one reacting to it though. In fact, NRG are pretty much staying as far away from middle as they possibly can. They've even pushed Fugly in the meantime into A main. Or after smoking it out there, perfect smoke too, will inhibit the rest of compLexity from moving inside. They're moving a little bit further up towards mid to clear things out and approach on the highway, but this is definitely going to turn itself into a B hit with the 2 others lurking in through the hallways, going up against Peter and Gabi in just a few moments as they do prepare for the hit. With only 20 seconds on the clock too, they're not leaving themselves a lot of time for this one. They catch Gabi out with a nade in the open, but they don't actually execute the kill, and now perfect flashbang for the CCs to hold them back even more. Gabi with the peek, he's going to find 1 before getting knocked out by 8. Peter trying to hug the corner here too. They do line up for him, but again, only 1 kill so far. Peter will get knocked out. Def finding a second one. It's all of Legia here. And again, he won't catch anything. It's Def in mid that shuts out the final kill against Fugly. Just through pure kills, compLexity, and just a DM this round.
Yeah, and that was scary for them. Legia got into a perfect position. He wasn't able to save Pete's life, though. He was a little bit too passive there. He definitely had opportunities to get this kill, but Dep's lurk at Z actually was something that probably won that round. He was able to pick off those 2 players. If Legia didn't feel the pressure from his teammates dying, maybe he would have gotten at least 1 of those kills and turned it into a 2v1. But Dep with 2 really good lurk kills as he gets on this boost, scouts out middle, and compLexity probably knows that they're low buy or eco, although NRG looks like they bought up here.
Should be noted too with the time that was left in that round. I think I think it was Def that was out back in mid. If he didn't get that kill, I'm not even sure if they would have had enough time to get the bomb.
I don't think they would have.
Yeah.
I don't think they would have.
So
I'm not 100% sure. We'd have to watch it back to be sure. But Pete gets great positioning in Sunroom. This is going to put a lot of pressure on compLexity now to either avoid this and say, you know what, I don't care if we run into any type of a stack, or try to retake it, which obviously gives the player in Sunroom ample opportunities to get frags.
And Surreal here too does catch himself a little bit of an angle to look through here in the smoke, but obviously no one on NRG is going to be abusing that at this point. All just sitting back, holding the positions, and actually Uber, let's see, he's creeping up here. He spots the leg of one of these players. Peter gets down to 27 HP and almost wrap the corner, taking him out, sneaking his way through the halls there. He picks up the first kill of the round, and Surreal a little bit surprised to find Fugly waiting in that corner. He's going to grab the kill. A few more opportunities, but he wide peeks in the second one, and that's where Ape's going to catch the trade. Now Uber still trying to sneak his way up here. He'll have a battle against Gabi in a moment. The flashbang isn't really connecting. Spraying through at this point. Bit of a tricky battle, and Gabi tries to give it up, but he's actually caught out in checks by Android, who will get knocked down by Gabi. He's able to escape, get back up on the site, and he's still got 14 HP, but now the hit's switching up. Def's moved his way all the way up on Highway here. He's going to be able to catch Tapson on the rotate, even peeking out a little bit more too. Legia not responding in kind, but he did spot his head a moment ago there. Now able to hold him back, and they still have Gabi stuck in checkers at this point. With the flank in mid, Uber actually caught looking in the complete wrong direction. We'll see Legia grab one more kill there before getting knocked out by Def, and for Gabi, unfortunately, well, he's in a palatable 1v2. He's down at 14 HP, and this makes it very, very difficult to pull off.
Yeah, very difficult to pull off. Looks like he's probably going to try to save here. No kit as well. And Gabi should have never been able to get out of that checkers room alive, though, after he got that kill on Android through the vents. Uber was there. Not sure if he was just spraying his gun, but he was just too scared to try to trade that kill in a situation where Gabi really had no to get that frag. But Uber did do a good job killing that guy in Sunroom. And now we see Gabi just trying his best to save. And Dep on the hunt, but this is a tough spot to clear. You a lot of the time check your left, and Gabi not ready for it. So good chasing by compLexity. And now we see a save out of NRG, and all of a sudden, looking at a 2-3 most likely scoreline. So compLexity off to that good start that we think they need.
Responding very quickly to that too, not even letting NRG getting out of the gate there before we finally see the rounds being picked up. They upset on the third round, and they even primed it too due to the play from Android that we talked about too, where he brought the economy so low. It's put them onto an eco very, very quickly here, which is exactly what compLexity wants, to get that early control here and obviously force NRG into making plays like this, where they've just gone for a risk stack onto the B bomb site. All 5 of them here. They may try to push through, but at the moment, at their mid control, if we do see any of them pushing forward where Android's going to spot it, then they'll more than likely know that it's pushing to A after that point. Android will grab the first kill here. Even flashing back in too, but Uber actually drops down, and unfortunately he's left himself in a bit of a hot zone here. He needs Android to bail him out, but not only is he going to get knocked out of this one, but Fugly is going to find that kill into Uber, and Legia sneaks out of the smoke, and Z picks up a kill too. All of a sudden, this goes back into the control of NRG on what was essentially just a full save round. They've got the odds, they've got the gunpowder here, but nobody has armor. As we can see, Legia already being dinked down to 19 HP. Surreal playing around with the MAC-10, pushing out to the truck angle. There goes Fugly, he gets knocked out. Back into a 2v2 we go, and Surreal gonna jump up on top of the shed, tries to swipe the kill out onto the player there in the back. Doesn't get it, but he catches Peter trying to push in too aggressively. For Legia, obviously with an AK on a full save, better option here is to fall back and save.
Yeah, just gonna keep his AK, but compLexity just, I mean, they had USPs, Blue. USPs. And they're losing 3 guns and ending it in a 2v3, and those kills could come, those deaths could come back to haunt them, because their economy is getting shattered because of that. That's a round that you really need to win cleanly. They opt to try to just kind of chase for kills a little bit and lose a lot of money doing so. Especially
when they find that first kill in halls too. They catch the player that ran boost out into the hallway, and then Uber tries to jump down into checkers for some reason there, and that completely traps the entire team. So Android has to commit just to bail his teammate out, and everything kind of just falls apart from there.
Yeah, and compLexity though, I really like the map choices that they got, man. NRG, I think if it would have been something like Cobble and maybe Mirage or something, I think Mirage takes a bit more teamwork than Cash and Dust 2, and I think that's the thing that compLexity is really lacking a lot. But Cash and Dust 2, these are maps that they should be pretty comfortable on. So I think compLexity definitely has a chance, despite the fact that NRG is a better team. As we see a complete 5-man towards B, Molotovs and all. Got B throwing a smoke, gets on top of it like he does every single time. But 2 entries out of compLexity, Got B able to even it up, 3v3. Site has been taken though as the rotate comes from heaven. Surreal battling that a little bit, but Got B is doing just an insane job holding this site. Ends up getting another kill, 4K, And looking for the ace is Uber's stuck in checkers, battling the entire squad of NRG.
The movement on that side is an impressive thing to behold there as he jumps up on top of the box just to try and crouch behind the smoke. Nobody spots him. He holds that position, and although a couple of his teammates get traded out, he catches the two that are pushing over towards CT main. Now he's put himself in this situation. Don't believe he spotted Uber just yet, but now he certainly has. He's going to try to peek into two. tabseN will steal the ace, but nonetheless, a very impressive round from GobB to play that positionally, then move out and completely shut down the compLexity hit, almost all on his own.
Yeah, and he does that every single time. When they do a molly take, he gets up on he throws the smoke, he gets up on the boxes. He didn't even get shot at once during that 4K. All the damage that he took was from that Molotov. All of it was. And we see the two most important rounds so far, GobB has gotten a 4K on each. He won the pistol for him, got a 4K, I believe. Got a 4K there at a sight hold where he, wins the round pretty cleanly. They end up with 3 alive at the end and put compLexity on an eco. So the two most important rounds, GobB has showed up.
And this goes back again to what we saw just in the past round there too, where NRG was on a full save and they got offset. Now, compLexity on their save, they try to go for a direct play in through Squeaky. It's immediately Molotov. A few players try to get through it. Not only tabseN is going to shut this down, but Fugly grabbed 2 through the smoke as well. Now the final two, Uber and Surreal, are going to try to fall their way back, wrapping around, at least one of them working into A main. Uber is still sitting on the outskirts of the approach hall leading up towards Squeaky. But we'll definitely be waiting a little bit here to see if anybody from NRG follows up. No reason to do so, though. They've got a 5-on-2 advantage. They know they're on an eco.
Yeah, absolutely no reason to chase here. You just, if you're serious about winning this match, you literally just sit there and just wait. And just say, we're not going to chase you. We're not going to give any free frags to you. We're not going to let you get more FPR than you should have, and I think that's good. Like, when you're NRG and you play against teams and you don't, chase kills like we have seen them do before sometimes, especially on Cobble, when they're leading, like, it's good, man. You want people to have 2 frags. Because then they'll chase kills because they're thinking about that, and that's what happens. But we saw their quad smoke as well as Fugly just ends the round with a big 3K there. We saw their quad smoke didn't even land properly. There's a huge gap on the left. That's not they're not even covering anything from quad. It's in fact it's a good smoke for the CT. So I don't know what's up with that, man.
They're able to spot the push coming from a mile away as compLexity now starting to make those mistakes. They do actually decide to force up into this round. Despite Uber and Abe not having enough cash to go for a full AK buy, they just downgrade to the pistols, and it'll be Def and Android picking them up instead, while Surreal is able to get the op. Unfortunately, it doesn't last for very long, as I believe he's killed by Peter out here in the halls somewhere. Picks up the frag from that position, and already that op goes down onto the ground early on in the round, giving the guys from NRG the advantage once again.
Yeah, and a very, very early mid-take by compLexity and a very passive mid-hold by NRG, giving it up. But Peter's satisfied with that 1 kill, makes it 4v5, opts to play more of a retake setup. And now Depp pushed up towards the highway. They have good map control, but we'll see what happens. I believe they have a player towards lockers and Fugly or tabseN, and they have a good amount of control right now. Has Depp sneaking in through Z, but Legia is waiting and watching for this, and this is going to be a really easy kill for Legia.
Legia now going to be holding the tight angle, but Depp actually...
Easy kill for Depp.
Sneaking in.
That's actually a very, very CT-sided angle. You saw Legia got the shot off first, but Depp's jiggle peeking worked really well there. Now they're going towards B. They still have GobB there, who's been just so tough for anybody to deal with at this B site, but they are finally able to kill him and trade on him, and now Pete finds a tiny gap through that smoke, not able to get that kill on the cross. Bomb's going to go down for 8. Pete looking like he's going to squeeze through here and try to kill 8 while he plants. He does. He has bomb down in the site. It's complete site control. All he has to do is hit 1 or 2 op shots, and they should win this round.
tabseN now moving in to try and close things out. Peter wrapped in the corner. Nice flick onto the head of Android, taking him down. A big move from Peter, picks up a 3K on this one. And we do see NRG once again taking the solid lead against compLexity. Money for them not going to be in the greatest position at this point, so most are just going to half buy. For those that can't really afford it, though, we'll just see the upgraded pistols coming into the mix.
Yeah, a botch smoke there on CT. It didn't go deep enough as well. And whenever you don't throw that smoke deep enough, as you saw, Pete took advantage of it. tabseN threw a flash through heaven for him that blinded them, so he was able to take advantage of it, push through headshot. As soon as you get a couple steps into headshot, you're covered from everything, right? So able to kill Ape there, and then from that point, it's so CT-sided at that point. Pete in the site with the bomb control, as it looks like Cole's coming towards B.
Actually misses the checkers push initially there too, but able to fall back behind the box, and of course they spot the rest of this hit coming from very far away. GobB's claimed his first kill in this round. even burning out a second player too. They can't even get past this smoke. There's so many flashbangs rolling in onto these guys. Catches Android pushing out there from the one and done spot, and then Legia and Peter are able to close
that's
out.
the difference, man. When you watch a team like compLexity and you watch them doing set takes or takes where they have to do anything teamwork based, it's just so sloppy compared to like when we watch a team like Cloud9 where it's very clean, right? They throw the smokes, they go out so quickly and get in your face so fast. They go with the flashbangs, even if a Molly's pops on the terrorist side. They don't, you know, cower from it. They throw a counter smoke or whatever, and they keep going. And it's clean, and it's quick, and it's much more difficult to stop than these compLexity takes where they miss a smoke. There's gaps in them. They get counter flashed, and none of them come. By the time they actually come, the rotates are there. So it's just so much sloppier than what we see from the higher skill teams.
For compLexity here now, they're even going to take some early utility damage too. Specifically, the bomb carrier here, Android, has been brought down to 11 HP. Early Molotov damage or HE grenade probably tossed over from Boost, doing that to him. And Surreal also being brought into 58. The rest of them still lining up for a pretty typical A hit here too, but Surreal and Android are even cautious to move into A main, as they have Tavson waiting just on the edge. He pushes in, grabs the first kill, chains it into a second. He almost gets a third. Dev finally taking him down. Ape now trying to work his way up towards Squeaky there too, but he's going to get instantly denied by Fugly, and there's no follow at all from his teammates. Fugly at the very least does a lucky break for compLexity that runs into a Molotov, so he's going to fully fall back farther back in the site, giving compLexity a bit of room, but now they can't even get to the place where the bomb's going to go onto the ground. There's another Molotov in their way, and they've allowed plenty of time for more of these CTs to rotate back in. Uber's going to get knocked out. Def, in the meantime, fell back into A main. He's going to try to sneak out, but he's got a 1v4 in front of him, and he essentially knows nothing about what's even on this bomb site right now. He probably knows there's about one player in quad and one behind the red box, but one peek from Fugly, and it ends the round again. NRG shut it out, and we go up 7-3 for the guys on NRG.
Yeah, and great job by NRG there, and compLexity down to 7-3. They're able to buy again. I think they have some pretty decent money bonus going for them. We've seen NRG consistently push A main and take control. A lot of time getting the smoke back there and giving up middle. We haven't seen much mid control by NRG.
It hasn't really affected them too much though, since compLexity.
They haven't.
They've really only used mid on a couple key rounds.
Yeah, it really hasn't been anything that has taken away from NRG. They're not even taking advantage of it too much. Besides that one round where Def got that lurk kill, those two lurks on that B hit. And right now, 5-man towards B. We'll see if it's a little less sloppy this time, as Pete and GotB both stuck behind default here. Legia with a really quick rotate though.
Now we're going to see Peter tries to find a close-up lop shot, but destroyed by Android, jumping up onto the platform itself. It's brought into a 3-on-4. All CTs are denied of any pressure into the bomb site, so compLexity do a good job of getting control, even leaving enough smokes to reapply them in CT main as well as back over towards heaven. But Tabson with a long grenade over there destroys Android, evens the odds out once again. Surreal with just 2 HP, trying to hold a close corner and trying to time this pop flash. It is going to roll out there, completely blinds Legia, but he's moving in regardless. Doesn't check the left corner though. First one for Surreal. Tabson trades it back out. Ape, the last one sitting on the site, but they've got Uber crossing back over towards teammate. Fugly grabbing one of the final kills. This goes into a 1v1, but now Uber doesn't even need to peek anymore. Tries to go onto the defuse, but Uber's going to shut it down from that back position. And compLexity finally picking up another round. Well, it's not that great. They only managed to survive with one player left alive, and these guys aren't sitting with a lot of money.
Yeah, so they need this one if they want to end the half on a good note. But the post-plans for positions were actually really suspect for compLexity. They really had nobody watching the flank. If somebody would have flanked, the only person contesting that was a player under the vents. Luckily for them, everyone from NRG came from CT spawn. So they had no vents presence, they had no big flank presence, and that was what really allowed compLexity to hold off on that retake.
For now, again, compLexity go back into the usual default. We've been seeing a little bit faster to get that A main control, since we have been seeing more aggressive movements from NRG in the past couple of rounds, mainly being led by Tabson, but also having support in a couple other rounds from some of the other guys here on the CT side. But for now, compLexity, after checking out the B halls and whatnot, they're going to shift a majority of their players to get ready to possibly execute on A, although this is going to be changing in a few moments as a couple of them fall back outside. They get ready to push Def over towards the boost, and again, as you were mentioning a couple rounds back too, NRG not doing anything really to resist this mid control at all. They're all just sitting back, and just now they're going to put Leggy and Z, but I doubt he's going to take a very active role in trying to stop them from taking this control. It's actually GotB doing the most of it now as he gets up a position there, although Android's actually going to grab the first kill into Leggy when he peeks out.
Yeah, Legia was just spamming through the smoke, I believe, but Android did a really nice job killing him. Tabson at this spot, you actually can only see him if you wide peek the box. So it's actually a tough spot to clear. They're trying to retake A main, going right into the CTs with a smoke down and a crossfire. Gabi comes towards middle, gets a flank kill on depth, and what started out so good for compLexity is quickly turning into just a massacre.
And now just the two of them left alive here, trying to push their way out towards mid again. For the most part, NRG letting them have that control, but Gabi's timing peek earlier killed the earlier control they had over towards highway, which could have still led them up to an A hit with a flank. They have no choice now with 20 seconds on the clock, but to go into the B-bomb site instead. And Gabi, he's already shown in the past he's able to hold this with no trouble whatsoever. Perfect flashbang tossed out there. Destroys his vision. Android does get the trade, but it's at a very heavy cost. And Peter, just a single pistol bullet, he is going to close out that last player from the T side.
Yeah, and Gabi's B holds have been really on point. I think he got a 2K there. And back to the round before that, compLexity won. One of the reasons they were in such poor post plants is because Gabi's been doing such a good job on the site. So when that site hold is that strong, all of a sudden compLexity has to send 4 players into site to try to kill that guy instead of like being able to chill with 3 there, 1 guy flashing for him, 1 guy kind of watching for the flank and things like that. And that kind of makes you really out of position for those post plants. I know they were able to win it, but the positioning was still really, really poor. As it looks like, you know, they're on another eco, 8-4. Gabi pushed up towards B, which is a different look than he's shown them. He's always been on the site passive, so this could cause some troubles for him. Consistent aim main pressure from Tabson and Fugly. Gets another kill on 8, and now it's looking really tough again for compLexity.
The 93 HP nade, too, on the Surreal at the beginning of the round. Now, Gabi actually does get hit a bit through the smoke, which will prime him to be taken down by Def here, but more players have already started to rotate in to hold these positions. Legia pushing his way up to the vents from mid. He's actually going to have to deal with pressure coming in from 2 angles at once. Actually, this may be changing up in a moment. It looked like they were going to shift around towards mid to add vents pressure, but now it seems like they're completely giving up on B instead and working their way back out towards A main. They may still take the mid control there to open up a highway push, but this is definitely working its way to the other site now, and that's going to put a lot of extra pressure on Tabson.
Yeah, it is going to be pressure on Tabson, but with 2 guys with 22 health, 1 guy with 7. Android's deagle, though, is always a problem, man. This guy has a pretty crazy deagle. So you got to make sure you don't get 1D'd and probably want to make them push the site. And Tabson looks like he's doing a good job. He's jump spotting. He is about to throw a flash. He's probably going to make them commit, and then that's going to make this hold a lot easier on him.
Fugly also rotating back in time as well, and there you go. The flashbang rolling out there. Tabson, just
Tabson.
an absolute massacre, and he gets the ace.
Yep. And yeah, I think we talked a little bit about it yesterday. You know, when they're leading in with a deagle and they're low money and they don't have armor, the only way you really lose this hold if you're Tabson is if you just are holding an angle and they come out 1D you. As long as that doesn't happen and you're able to like get the drop off on them by being the peeker and using peeker's advantage and things like that, maybe peeking with a flashbang like he did after he spots him and his teammate makes contact, you're almost never going to lose that hold.
So now compLexity again might try to go for the early boost here with Def, although they do have Peter watching for it, but they actually smoke it out. Doesn't mean Peter's not going to be able to spot the elbow peeking out in the top left side of it, though. That destroys Def.
What the hell was that?
What?
Why? Whose smoke is that?
That was there. That was the T-smoke.
What was that supposed to do?
I don't know. I guess let him get further out so he could find Peter, but...
But you have a scout. You want to be at a headshot angle there. That's what you want.
I don't know.
It's just sloppy, man. It's just sloppy. Remember when the Bears was talking about, he was like, you know, you want to be on that 2 drink. You don't want to be on that four glasses of wine. Like, compLexity is on like 8 glasses, dude. Like, that's how sloppy it is. They're that girl at the bar that's taking like the rag shots or whatever. You have no idea what I'm talking about, huh?
Actually, I think I know what you are talking about in this case.
Okay.
But compLexity's next level smoke tactics on boost do not pay off at all, as Android gets wrecked first and then Def with the second. Although we did see a nice kill on Israel, finally took down Tabson at the very least, but still a lot more recovery work to do. Thankfully they still have this scout, but the guys on NRG aren't going to give them anything at all on the peak there towards highway. They're even starting to rotate Peter again into that position, more than working out towards the B-bomb site. They're going to push up, and nobody's even covering the truck angle there. Gets that first kill for free. We do see a response working its way out from Uber to take down Peter, thankfully, but now more rotating in, and it's a textbook shutdown from Gabi and Fugly.
Yeah, Gabi coming in. I think he came through Z, got that kill. I'm not 100% sure, actually. But Fugly on that A site. That car angle, man, sometimes it's just... Sometimes it's great. Sometimes it's so annoying, man. You get 1D constantly from there. Uber gets pushed up, as we saw. And now compLexity on their last buy round of the half 10-4. They really need this one to make it more manageable. 10-5 or 11-4 is like actually a huge swing. It really is. So Surreal on that op. Looks like they're holding a lot of a default, and a really, passive B hold by them. That's actually been pretty problematic for compLexity. They've constantly been throwing that deep smoke at B so that they can get sunroom control, and it puts so much pressure on him as Surreal gets a kill on Tapson while he tries to push through that A main smoke. 4v5 for them, so we'll see how NRG adapts here. If they try to do mid-round aggression towards somewhere else, if they just give it up and say, you know what, your takes aren't good enough to hold our passive hold, we'll see what type of adjustment they make.
Def again lurking out here too, waiting to see if he finds any additional mid-pressure from the NRG side. They've slowly been layering it on a little bit more as we've gotten later into the half, but guys on compLexity, despite how light it was towards the first couple of rounds, have always been cautious of it, mainly for the reasons that we have got B again inside of Z. His timing on peaks too, and just catching like individual players pushing on highway has been fairly good up to this point. Spots that initial player. What he didn't realize was that Def was sitting behind the white box, but Def not finding the shots directly on point as he needs to, so Gabi just ends up giving up that pursuit, falls way back in the event they do decide to push him, and actually rolls all the way onto the B bomb site. So currently, you've only got this boost up stack here from the guys on NRG at this point, and they're gonna get Molotoved out, possibly too. Rolls in there, pushes them into the back. Now we've got them scrambling. They don't even know what's coming in its way, and Uber just leaps in, gets the headshot connection onto Legia, and Fugly responds. Now Fugly though has got to pick up some more kills. He can't find it. Rotations are on the way, but they're outmatched at this point. Knocked out of the site. Gabi goes back into his position here, and he's still actually checkers, as I correct myself. He's going to just start now to wrap back out, but that's such a long rotate for him. Both of them have kids, thankfully, but they don't really have any utility. Pushing their way up here, too. They're even going to have to deal with Surreal sitting behind the shed in mid. More than likely just going to try to brute force their way back in and see what ends up working. The nade gets completely wasted. Doesn't hit anywhere near any members of compLexity. And they've even got the boost up here, too. Def hunting it down. Does some good damage early onto Gabi here. And we've got Surreal finally peeking back out. They both just get destroyed. And finally, a good take from the compLexity side does net them a 5th round here. So it's going to go 10-5 at the half, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to be wanting to stick around here for the second half, as it's going to be coming up in just a little bit more action right here at the ESL Pro League. So stick around.
He's going to get the one kill in that bomb coming onto the side. FNX has to stay up. Oh, he gets the triple FNX. Oh my god, what a way to win that round. They don't have a smoke, so this over still. Oh, look at that.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Soylent, Xfinity, Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, The Score Esports, Mountain Dew, and ESEA.
Welcome back to the ESL Pro League. Ladies and gentlemen, it's compLexity taking on NRG. NRG just took the first half, took control of it anyway, over here on Cash with a 10-5 scoreline. A little bits of aggression here and there did yield compLexity a couple of rounds, but ultimately things looking very sloppy on the T side. Now, however, they'll get their chance to correct it on the CT side. Days, before we jump into this, what are your thoughts?
compLexity didn't look too great there. I mean, a lot of mistakes. Whenever they tried to do something as a team, it fell apart. Just horribly wrong for the most part. Whenever they grouped up towards door, they just got caught behind Molotovs. When they went towards B, they did win 1 or 2 of those rounds, but generally speaking, it just wasn't that crisp. You know, it just really wasn't well thought out, in my opinion. People didn't have designated roles that they're, able to accomplish, and it was more like, hey, we're going and grouping up B. Go. As NRG takes a really quick pistol round, Smoke Z flashes out, Peter gets that highway control. And also, compLexity never took advantage of the lack of middle presence by the CT team.
And now we are going to see them lining up for the B hit too. Initially, compLexity had a 4-man stack over on the A-bomb site, but thankfully for them, NRG have slowed down this take on B to give them a bit of time to rotate. Not quick enough though. Android, the only player here in this site to defend it, gets immediately knocked out. Only trades about 70 points of damage, or apologies, 30 points of damage onto Gabi to bring him down to 69 HP. And at the end of the day, this is just brought into a 4-on-5, and the guys on compLexity completely locked out of the site. Peter, he'd been sitting here in the vents waiting for the push around the corner. There's already going to be a couple tight angles to try and hit here, but he takes the challenge anyway, and well, one of them goes for the reload right in front of it. Almost leads to his own death, that being Def there. They try to jump in, but he has support from further back. That's Tapson with the peek out. First kill for him suddenly. 2 more round back out from teammate, and Gabi with a triple shot, hopping off the top off there. Picks up 1 more kill, and finally Uber falls on the back side of the platform, giving NRG control of their lead once again, and also the second half pistol.
Yeah, and you know, they were able to take the site with just like 2 people. 2 people took the site. And when you're able to take the site with just 2 people like that, it makes it so easy to just set up for perfect post plant positions, and it's almost impossible for the CTs to win. Like, you're not able to spam back checkers on a pistol. Can't do it. So that spot's so overpowered, as we see just Deagles on compLexity, hoping for a miracle here. And we'll see if they get it.
Surreal trying to hunt, but it's going to be very careful with the angle he peeks out around here too, and in the meantime, NRG take very fast mid control. Same thing as the pistol. Peter is walking right out here and grabbing it. No one else is really going to be resisting that. And while we did see those Def pushing his way inside of A main, currently only having Legia on the very outside of this watching for it. So, and especially now with his attention being drawn over there towards the alternate side, he's going to walk right up. Good response from Legia, though. Quick reaction. And although he does take a little bit of damage here, he's still able to find that kill. Now it's Uber's turn, getting up close with the CZ, moves right in there, picks up the kill. Now he's an SMG in hand, but also Peter has started his push inside of A main. So really Uber having the only good position. He's going to buy time for his other teammates to rotate back up from the B-bomb site, but they need to be ready to immediately strike as soon as they move in. Peter leaping in, even looking away for a second there too. The side swipe shuts down Uber, and Legia, the casual little peek out there, finishes off one of the final 2. It's just on 8. So run away back behind the truck angle, trying to make the best of his situation, but unfortunately, not a whole lot to be made here. Picks up 1 kill with the Deagle against Tapson, but that's it. Fugly responds, and it is another round for NRG as they go up 12-5.
Yep, 12-5, compLexity on another eco now. Going to be 13-5 until they get that buy round in, and NRG is just in a commanding lead.
Obviously, compLexity get themselves into their trash round here too. Minimal investments, just P250s for pretty much everyone on the team. Not even going to see a single player risk it by going for a secondary Deagle buy-up or anything like that. Just literally those same guns across the board. And they've also taken the risk stack once again. All 5 on the A-bomb site. The moment the bomb heading towards the V-hull, this could change, but if these guys just lurk their way up there and well, they don't see anything, then obviously there'll be no reason to do that. And we'll just see NRG waltz onto the site and have a pretty easy closeout on this round.
Yeah, nothing wrong with stacking the site, though, on an eco like this. I like doing things like that, maybe like a 4-1 where you're spotting somewhere and you could, you know, just hope they come into your site and you can get some kills and at least have a chance of winning a round, right? If you just play like 2-1-2 here, you almost never have a chance of winning the round. But if NRG makes a big mistake, they send like 5 towards A off the bat, then you actually can win the round. So it's giving you some hope.
Like a 10% chance.
Probably less.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, maybe 10%. I think 10% is probably good, actually. Yeah,
but
I think 10% is good.
You also have to get lucky enough that 50% of them actually taking the site goes your way. So
Yeah, exactly.
we do see the Def grabbing 1 kill as obviously the NRG players for some reason actually moving up very aggressively to hunt out some of these kills. They've already lost 2 of their own players too, and Legia being dinked down to 2 HP, finished off as well. So they lose quite a few players, and that's actually going to be quite a couple of guns going into the hands of the roster from compLexity. At the very least, Android picking himself up an AK. There may be one for Ape as well, but he's obviously trying to watch out for the flanks and whatnot. Doesn't look like he'll have a gun to pick up here since most of those other kills happen a bit closer out towards mid. At the very least, they scavenge that and saves them a little bit of cash going into this first gun round.
Yeah, we see NRG do that a lot, man. Like when they're in the lead and things like that, they tend to chase a little bit too much. Really no need to give up like an AK there, but regardless, they're in a commanding lead. They feel safe. They feel like they're so much better than compLexity, to be honest, that they think they probably, in their mind, there's like no way they can lose this.
So now again, with the time favoring NRG here at this point, and same, especially with the scoreline doing the same thing. Def is going to get boosted over here. The counter boost from the CTs. Trying to look for that early initial kill if he can find it, but I think Gabi knows it's there. Still waiting for the head to pop its way back out. And Def, plenty of time in the world to wait for this one too. No one being pressured as of yet, and NRG immediately too. Very different from what we saw in the first couple of rounds of them when they were very fast-paced to take that mid-control. All of a sudden, they've taken a different path, and they're heading in towards this usual default we see a lot of teams employ instead. Just taking their time with it, running the clock down, seeing if they can catch anybody in the early portions of the round. But actually, It's going to be compLexity to find it. Def moves up. The sudden spur of movement actually catches Gabi sitting over there on the approach towards the squeaky hallways, and he grabs the first kill for the CTs. Now going to be challenged again for a second player, but tabseN catches the trade. No one else is out towards mid to be able to support that, so he's going to get knocked back down, and this goes even into a 4-on-4. They still don't even know where the sight tick is working its way in towards as of yet, but they've got a feeling Uber will start to rotate back over towards mid, but Legia just got that kill onto Ape, and now they're going to be rolling right into here, and they've already got sight control. Good kill from Legia, and with the unfortunate mistake of Uber rotating back off, this gives them the site for free here, and also some post plants too. They've already got tabseN waiting out mid to see if they can catch anybody rotating in towards highway.
That was just odd. I don't know why Def would be at middle on the counter boost, but with 0 support. I mean, he was able to make it 4v5, and they could have easily won that round if they had any sort of support. tabseN tries to lurk, but dies, and now it's a 3v3. But 3v3, and Pete has the op, and one of the best post-plant positions on any map, either A main or fork. So this is an extremely difficult retake.
Moving in, he's even got secondary support back in A main, but Uber catches that first kill. Peter with a nice shot though. Android's going to try to sneak in to correct it, but again, catches Uber. Now it's just Android. He does catch that kill, but it's a 1v1, and Android has only got 2 HP. This needs to be an immediate one-tap from Android. Even taking the risk too, going up on top, but he gets the kill. Shuts it down against Legia, and the big clutch from Android puts up a 6th round on the board for compLexity.
Yeah, that was a great shot by Android. Pete getting 2 kills from the forklift, dinking Android for 98. Legia just not able to put up any sort of a fight. Instantly dies to Android there, and Android gets that defuse, and compLexity, first gun round goes to them.
Nicely done there by compLexity, keeping themselves in this match. Still a long, long road to recovery, and they haven't even put these T's onto an eco. Just they've got at least this buy rolling before they have to go to that one, including the Opsil and Peter. Decent utility for all players. They're not sitting knocked out of this one just yet, and we're still actually going to keep with the aggression from compLexity back out on mid too. That's a nice nade, goes right inside, and the timing was just as tabseN was crossing back over. Needs almost the full damage from that one, down at 50 HP, and they'll just counter boost Def again.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll see some type of support for him this time, as we have somebody highway Ape underneath him, but it just made no sense the last round. So he's going to come up, he's going to get another kill on Gabi, and this time he has a support. There's not going to be that counter frag that comes out. tabseN can't come from middle. He gets that kill, and he's safe.
So now again, the NRG roster still sneaking around this map here too, with Def waiting in that position. The NRG players are going to look to it here in just a few moments. The Molotov going down to prevent him from really falling back, and as they creep up, it's not even checking for that position. It's just a free kill for Def. He's even going to hunt for more too. But they're still sitting back a little bit there. 2 of them shift inside of A main, but with the 3 left alive, they don't have the greatest positioning. They don't really have really great control either. Fugly's finally going to start to fall back here to retrieve the bomb, but he's got to be careful of the repeat, which could roll out at any moment here from Def. He even just goes right downstairs, and there's a flashbang to cover, but Fugly saves the day, or at least knocks out Def. Puts us back into a 3-on-4, but they've only got 30 seconds left to make this take happen. They're actually going to call off A, fall back here through mid, possibly work out into those B halls.
Nobody is a B right now. So they're waiting. NRG is. They want to wait so that they actually have to rotate back to B because they saw them with the bomb there, but they aren't rotating back. They have great positioning from compLexity. Uber out of spot that's extremely difficult to clear, and now Pete forced to save in a 4v1. Who's that chasing him? Ape dies to him. Going to be tough to kill him here, but that was just a huge rotate by compLexity. NRG thought if they waited that compLexity would run back, but they didn't, and they stayed basically 3 or 4 towards A, and that's tough to win. Dev getting probably a little bit too aggro there after he got those first 2, and so far the counter boost from compLexity in middle is just something that NRG just has no answer for.
And so NRG go up 13-7, they still hold a solid lead, but compLexity is working on rounding this comeback here now. Solid buys for them, and they finally put the NRG roster onto an eco around here. It is just going to be a half buy eco, though. Once these guys able to get the very least armored pistol behind it, and obviously Peter's still working with the op, which we've seen grow into effectiveness. Not a whole lot of crazy plays from him on this map, but he's been doing his job well regardless here.
Well, the good play he had at forklift when he got 2 kills, almost killed the 3rd, kind of went to waste because Legia wasn't able to clutch it out. But they probably wouldn't have bought here if Pete didn't save that op. But since he saved the op, you know, they want the money to be together. And, you know, if you just have an op and if you take A here, and even if you're in a 1v3, as long as Pete's alive at A main, put the bomb down or forklift, he could easily win it. So that's kind of their thinking.
And they are going to move into A main here. Both Uber and Surreal ready to take it off there. And Surreal actually backs away from the initial op battle with Molly. off the push in from the squeaky area there. Uber catching the kill into Peter, and then Surreal finally peeks out. Yeah, this is getting shut down, unfortunately. Legia sneaks into one frag from Squeaky, but that's about it. compLexity had not only those two players already on site, but they had one back over towards mid and one on highway too. So very fast rotates, and even if NRG picked up one or two of those initial kills.
Oh, that was great rotation by compLexity. They were all there very, very quickly. Depp was on the catwalk, Uber at site, Surreal at site with the op, and they had somebody quick rotating the white truck. So that was perfect rotates.
So NRG onto the still secondary save, actually. They're going for the second one here now as well. They are going to go again for the big boost here, but Surreal watching out for that from the backside. The Molotov actually tossed over, denies it, and Depp even just pushes right into A main. Another Molotov taking a position there. NRG just stuck in a box at the first few seconds of this round, not really allowing them to do anything at all. They've got 3 players primed to explode out towards mid, where actually, again, the compLexity has given up a lot of their pressure. They're focusing on the sites instead. We will see Surreal falling back over towards Z again, but he can't have any immediate impact as NRG is taking control of things leading up to the white box.
Yeah, and compLexity so far has shown a lot of early aggression, and that's probably something that NRG is going to try to deal with in this coming round. So if I was compLexity in this upcoming round, I actually wouldn't aggress, but I'd try to save as much utility as possible. And then that way, NRG is probably going to be waiting for that aggression if they don't do any sort of quick strat. And you could, you know, hopefully they take too long, and then you still have that utility, and then by the time they hit anything, you know, you could delay them, throw Molotov smokes, and just get an early rotate and crush them. So we'll see what they do on this upcoming round. Depp with that early A main kill made it 4v5, and now NRG has a very low chance of winning this round.
Surreal
Beautiful
trying to close
shot
out onto Legia, but Legia actually gets the running shot there to shut down Surreal. Bit of a favor being returned, and now this goes into a 4v4. They're trying to line up a bit of an A main hit here. This is still obviously going to be very hard to pull off with these pistols, and as they roll in, Depp finding not one but two. Fugly did pick up the one player further back in the corner. He's focusing on the plant now. Depp obviously just trying to make sure he himself stays alive here. He will actually end up shutting this down, getting the ace for himself.
Second ace we've seen tonight, right? For compLexity, at least.
So with that, they will shut.
So it was Fugly. No, Tapson. Tapson had the ace.
So it's second ace in the
Depp.
game, but
Yeah.
first ace for compLexity.
Yeah.
So Def will shut things down, and it's also was the A-site player too that got it both times.
Bitch, nobody knew he was forked, man. Even this guy coming up highway, look, doesn't even look a fork.
So he gets the quick closeout there, and assuming the last frag there too, I believe he just assumes he's going to wrap around the other direction, but makes the fatal mistake. So easy closeout in the round there for the man on the A-site for compLexity. So they go up ahead once again, and they're just 4 rounds behind the scoreline now too. Now actually, they're getting a bit. Getting a bit pissed off too of the aggression that's constantly throwing them off at mid, and actually there you go, it works out perfectly. Peter ends up getting liked on a 17 HP, but the boost in itself back up on top of the truck does his job perfectly. They catch Surreal pushing on the white box, and they get that early punishment kill to bring it into a 5-on-4.
Yeah, just not advised, man, to take that battle. I think it's easier to win rounds in other ways. It was a good peek by Surreal, but you know, if the T's set up there, he's probably going to get the kill.
Now Gabi sneaking in. They've got to be careful to watch that left corner here. He spots it. Bit of a late reaction. Brought himself down to 58 HP, but he still grabs the frag. Taking out Def. Again, still good control maintained for the NRG side. The only one that could maybe throw things off at this point, obviously, is going to be Uber inside of A main when they get the direct push in that direction. And if Android, within the next couple of seconds here, decides to push into the B halls with a possible flank, although that does not look like it's going to be happening here. NRG, after taking that mid control, they do fall back with at least one of their players to regroup. And Gabi's actually going to shift into the vents, too, looking to make some noise here. But that's shut out. There's where Android finds his kill. Fugly jumping up. Just a casual pickup against Uber, knocking him out of the picture. The only one left on this bomb set is going to be 8. Thankfully, there was a flashbang that held back the initial push, and he's heard the noise. Should be calling over for the support from Android now, but he just rolls right back into a Molotov. Easy pickings for Tabs, and even though the flash does fade, and obviously Android will be saving here in the 1v4.
Yeah, great pop flash towards site. Every time you come towards that site, you really want that flashbang to just pop right before you round that corner. But on Depp, when you're a T and you come up that roof, it's an extremely T-sided angle. The reason being is, when you're a CT and you're looking up there, you actually don't know where to put your crosshair, because they could be high up on the roof, they could be lower up on the roof, right? And that makes it really difficult. So it's a very T-sided angle whenever anybody's close middle and you peek it from the roof.
Now, again, Android is looking to keep himself alive. He's tucking himself on the ramp leading up towards heaven. All of NRG working their way out in this direction to hunt him down, although they haven't checked in his position just yet. Now, though, Peter going to lead it, and actually, he's the first one to go down at 17 HP. It doesn't look like they actually caught where he was hiding out at either. They're all pushing up now. They won't even look to hunt down that additional frag. They're just going to retrieve the op, obviously, look to make it out of it, but we do see that last minute live there from compLexity making it out of the round unscathed.
Yeah, Ape having a rough one, man. 7-17. Uber as well at 10-20. But Deb's doing pretty good for compLexity. His early round aggression and even his post holds over on that anti-eco was pretty nice. So NRG hasn't really tested B here much. We'll see what they opt to do this round after that last win. They're fully stocked up, 5 Molotovs on every single one of them. And Deb again getting aggressive towards A main.
They are going to be shifting inside of the in B side. In the B side too, we see compLexity having both Ape and Android very close up to the vents. Probably going to be seeing a counter boost on there in just a moment. Whereas on the NRG side, still no reason to rush things. Still no reason to force the issue onto these bomb sites, as they are able to play to this default angle. It works out for many other teams as well. Just slow playing it, letting the time run down a bit, and capitalizing on any of the early aggression from compLexity. Although they have dodged away from that, and they've even moved away from quite a bit of the mid control too. The largest amount of it that we're going to see is from Android this time with a counter boost into the vents. There's no one else here to watch out for it. We could see a peek from Uber and Z, but at the moment, that's not really happening. And we've also seen Gabi get all the way up to the white box. The timing on this peak, though, may work out for Android. It's really going to come down to him actually checking that position there, too. Because at the moment, he's obviously focused on the boost and just the main doorway push. Hasn't even realized that Gabi has worked his way all the way up to this plot. But now he's going to move on to highway there. He's spotted out by Surreal. This should give Android the feel he needs to finally go for that peek. And well, there you go. Oh, actually misses the opening shot. Bit messy. Grabs the kill. Surreal finding one on the site too, but so did Tapson against Dev. Now Surreal trying to wait this out, but he's got a Molotov behind him. Doesn't even know where to look. Android wraps himself back in on the highway there. Grabs the kill against Tapson. A 2 versus 3 in the favor of the CTs here. And Vugly walks into the Molotov. Just burns himself alive. Ape is going to end up grabbing that frag there too. Very well positioned, and now he's left Peter alone to try and clutch this out. compLexity members, though, they're being a little bit hesitant about this, not wanting to push themselves in just yet. The leap over to A main, trying to bait out the shot. It doesn't pay off. Peter very well restrained at this point, but he's got to be careful. The others are on their way. Gets that first kill in A main, and the second one now needs the third, but Ape is going to move in and shut things down. So compLexity do get to go up to double digits now, but what a close, almost clutch that was from Peter.
Yeah, and so far at that A site post plant positioning for Peter, he's doing a good job of getting the first 2. Just can never seem to get that 3rd kill. As Fugly, you see him die to that Molotov there. Getting some 1Gs in the chat. See, the thing about the 1Gs, man, Summit killed himself with the Molotov. It's not whenever somebody dies with a Molotov. Everybody types it whenever there's a molly kill, but Summit killed himself.
It's just become synonymous with Molotovs now. It's just
I know.
Fire apparently represents Summit.
Yeah, it's just taking on a new meaning.
He's now just an element, apparently. So.
Yeah. What element would you be doing?
Probably Earth.
Why is that?
Because I get stepped on all the time.
Oh my god. That's pretty good.
Thank you. So NRG are going to go for the execute over on the A-bomb site.
Oh man.
Feels bad now. Peter as well looking for that opening with the op from Squeaky too, but the Molotov is going to deny that. And Legia, as they both are still hunting for something, but all of a sudden NRG struggling to find that opening kill that's needed and having to once again deal with the extra pressure in mid. Surreal just going to destroy Peter when he repeats Squeaky. Legia may go for it as well. They've seen the gun being traded out, so he knows he's going to have to deal with the op again in a moment here, but also the A main pressure slowly lining up. Thankfully, for the first time in a while, actually, Dev has been denied on his early aggression. They take him down when he tries to go for the counter boost, and they have mid control. They have one more CT stuck in the Z area there, too, as Ape is going to be positioned. He'll wait, however, for the execute to begin here. Flashbang goes out, and actually, he's going to be caught. He almost gets a kill. He focuses on the player at range, though, and that is where Tabson is going to punish. Now going into a 3 versus 4 here. The guys from NRG move themselves up. Gabi and Tabson rack up the frags, and it is just Android. He'll find 1 kill. He's on his way to this clutch, and he's going to go for it, but he's got to be careful of Tabson back over here by the truck position as he wraps back out, finds the 1 more kill, 2 more to go. They're both tucked away in their post-plant positions. Legia working his way into the quad spot, and Fugly in A main pushing up first here. The flashbang affecting himself, though, and it holds him back for a long enough time. Legia will pick up the frag, and with that, we'll see NRG getting up to 15 rounds.
Yep, and compLexity on a terrible buy here, but compLexity did get to double digits blue, so.
Very true.
So if they lose, at least they got to double digits for the second
Improving
time.
their record.
Yeah.
Slow steps.
Yeah. See, like, for most teams, you just go by wins and losses, but for certain teams, we go by how badly they lose. That's like the measure.
It's all about the little steps.
Yeah, baby
North
steps.
American Counter-Strikes. One improvement at a time.
Yeah. Oh, that is horrible. Anyways, NRG on game point, 15-10. And it took him a while, though, to figure out that complexity half. And as soon as Surreal got that kill, I was thinking, this is dangerous, man. Like, complexity is getting very, very close. But then it just all fell apart. I think they only got, they ended up getting 2 more kills on that round. But that steady stream of just A hits by NRG, just a steady stream.
They are going to, again, still play to that same default here that we've been seeing. This complexity try to hold up their own aggressive angles. It's Def again that tries. It's actually just going to go directly for the push this time, and no one is suspecting it, and there's nobody in the B halls to counter out this flank. This all comes down to his timing, though, and now as NRG are also starting to shift into A main. If he's too late about this, they'll assign someone to watch out for that flank position. Peter starting to lurk inside. There's nobody sitting back in quad. It's all open on the site, with the exception of the corner. I think around towards Toxic there, although Uber is going to adjust his now to get closer to the bomb site and more just funneling in. Also keep in mind, incoming that flank from Def. He's working his way up the steps in AMA now, and as they move into the site, he's going to strike at any moment here. Leggy and Fugly moving in, but we do see Peter, along with Ape and Surreal here, racking up some frags too. Peter struggling to find his. They did deny the flank, but they still have a 2-on-3 to deal with here. Ape's been brought down to 12 HP. Fugly trying to push forward. The flashbang that's tossed in by the T's is perfect, and Fugly even going to move right out there to find the final kill. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. NRG get themselves up to 16 rounds. It's a bit of a struggle there in the second half, but they do manage to close out near the end. 16-10 is the scoreline. Complexity, they're getting themselves up to double digits, so improvements on their lost games in the past, but again, still dropping the first match here.
Yeah, complexity, they did that road bump thing, right? It was looking bad. They lost that pistol. They put them on 13 rounds, and NRG, weren't able to win, too many rounds there. Complexity putting up a good fight, but then at the end of the day, NRG was just, they adapted, they constantly hit A, and I think Complexity kept thinking it was going to be a B hit over and over again. Obviously, that round they had A pretty much stacked, but it just never came B.
Yep. And so with that, guys, that is going to close things out for this first map. We have some analysts waiting for us back over at the desk, so guys, take it away. Let's discuss what happened there in this first match.
Yeah, seems like Complexity, also an Earth element.
Because they got stepped on by NRG. Yeah, I think we learned a lot. When he said, what element would you be, and he said Earth, I was like, maybe because it's mostly oceans, mostly water. His name's Blue, and he's like, because I get stepped on. And I just wanted to go hug him, but I just thought maybe the camera would be on, and I didn't want to get catched and end up in the post-game wrap-ups. Anyway, yeah, it was an interesting first half of Counter-Strike. I think Dazed may have coined the phrase 8-drink Counter-Strike, because it seemed like there was just some rounds that were a little way too loose. The coordination wasn't really there for Complexity, just not a lot of teamwork, and we didn't get to see the chemistry you normally expect at this level. But they still put up a decent fight. They got a couple good gun rounds in, and then second half came. It seemed like they were going to keep constantly just boosting over, putting Def up on the counter boost. And when NRG made that adjustment, it seemed like, okay, we figured out where the weakness is, how we're going to punish this aggression. And then they just kind of walked away with it. Some of those rounds were a little bit closer than they probably should have been, but it's a good win for NRG.
Yeah, I want to talk about round 10 a little bit, because this was just over and over again for Complexity, and it was a pretty nice retake from NRG. They were just denying it constantly.
Yeah, NRG makes Shaq proud and swats away Complexity's attack. Yeah, it seemed this even in this first half, it seemed like Complexity plays this map pretty well. They play it a little bit bizarre at times, and it's hard to predict. And yeah, they kept the one round that I really liked. They threw the top highway smoke. When you throw that smoke, you can lurk behind it. You can then split to A. You can pick off rotators. They actually put a guy into Z. I was surprised that they didn't go back to it, and they kept trying to do this. It was like they were just banging their heads on the wall. And the second Tabson got heated up, it was like, okay, I don't really think that they're going to be able to pull out too many of these rounds playing just really, really loose. And when Tabson can get control of A main, he's willing to fight anybody that's willing to peek him. And he started to hit his shots, and I think that was the shutdown in the first half.
Yeah, and then in round 23, I guess that's when NRG dunked Complexity, I guess you would say.
That's just bravo, Tom.
Thank
Bravo.
you.
Yeah, and so you see, I don't know what Uber was doing there. His reaction time seemed to be a little bit off, so maybe that's one of those things where you just stare at your crosshair too long and kind of zone out. Ape didn't really have a great performance. I think they talked about it on the desk, how once NRG kind of figured that out, they were pretty consistently hitting A. No like crazy new stuff in terms of executes, but just one or two mollies in that site, a good flashbang. If there's anybody behind the red box, it's almost a guaranteed first kill. Same thing with quad, and it just didn't seem like Ape specifically was able to counter that. And then once the counter boosting of Def, they kept putting him at mid, he kept getting kills there. Once they shut that down, it was like, okay, there's not too many more, I don't say gimmicky, but there's not too many more like unique or aggressive plays that you try to do once a half that they would have left in their playbook. And once NRG figured it out, Gabi said, okay, let's change this. And that's what they did, and it worked.
All right, so we're moving on to Dust 2 after this. We'll see if compLexity can bounce back. But guys, I want to give a shout out to thescoreesports.com. It's that time. Take out your phone, download it on your iOS or Android device on the Google Play App Store. It is the best place for news and stats. And again, Dust 2 going on between NRG, and we also have compLexity predictions. Ryu, quick.
Second map NRG.
All right, guys, don't go anywhere.
8 drink.